Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saturday evening live session where we are going to go deeper into control charts and some special tests, which are some advanced tools in the control charts which are inbuilt into it, and we are going to learn that. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again. So before we start, let's continue our ritual which we have started again, which we used to do. So let me announce the names who completed green belt and black belt certification this week. Okay, so I'm going to just announce the name. Seeman S. Seeman S has completed his certification, Seeman. And Ronak Joshi, congratulations. Banu Prasad MU, congratulations. And Sushri Gayatri Muduli, congratulations. So these are the four people: Seeman, Ronak, Banu Prasad, and Sushri. Congratulations for completing your green belt certification during this week. So everybody, please type congrats to these wonderful people, successful people. And let me quickly announce the black belt participants. Let me see if So we have Dr. Palak Meston. Okay, so Dr. Palak Meston, you have completed your black belt certification successfully this week. Okay, so these are the 5 successful participants who have completed green belt as well as black belt certification. Congratulations to all of them. Super. We can do that, Sandeep ji. You can do that. You can just send the message on the mentor's number and we can individually also attend the examination. Okay? Chalo. So let's begin our journey today. Today's topic is very interesting topic, which is control chart. So let me just quickly touch upon some powerful concepts about control chart. Who basically was the first person who talked about control chart? Anybody who's aware of who basically spoke about control chart first? Just type in the chat box if you are aware of it. Who is father of control chart? Anybody in the room? Yes, just type in the chat box if you are aware of it. Nobody? Sir, I was not the one. Okay, so father of control chart is Walter Shewhart. Make a note of this. This is very important figure for all of us to remember. Mr. Walter Shewhart. And Walter Shewhart has who is father of control chart and statistical process control, etc. SPC, statistical process control. So after a lot of experiments, Walter Shewhart confirmed that any process, if we plot the process in the on the graph, and if that process is flowing, for example, if this is the process diagram, every dot I have plotted, let's say it can be a sales, per day sales, it can be per day production, or it can be per day how many calls you are attending, or it can be the any data which is you can plot it on the scale like this and take the average. Average is always called as X bar. Okay, now any process which runs between +3 standard deviation and -3 standard deviation. So Walter Shewhart named those lines as upper control limit, UCL, upper control limit, which is nothing but X bar plus 3 standard deviation, and then there is a lower control limit, LCL, which is nothing but X bar minus 3 times standard deviation. So any process which has variation within +3 and -3 standard deviation from the mean is considered to be a stable process. What is that? The name he suggested was stable. Now what do you mean by stable? Stable meaning just like stable person and unstable person. Stable person is predictable. unstable person is unpredictable, right? You would have seen children. There are few children who are very stable, calm, cool, right? Disciplined. They're called as stable, under control. Very good. They're disciplined. Their behavior pattern you can easily predict. Like that child will get up at 6 o'clock, will prepare himself or herself by 6:30, will go to school by 7, come back by 12, study after 3 o'clock, take rest for 1 hour, then go for playing for 1 hour. It's a complete predictable pattern. There is another child who may not wake up exactly on the same time. There is huge variation. He may not go to the school. There will be a lot of attendance challenges. He may not sit and study constantly for a very long time. So it's unpredictable behavior. Sometimes he will behave, very nicely with the parents and the fellow students, friends, family members. Sometimes that child will be very agitated. So that is called unstable behavior. So stable and unstable. Similarly, process also will have stable and unstable behavior due to various reasons. Out of control, exactly. Now Walter Shewhart, after a lot of experiments, he has identified that if any process between +3 and -3 standard deviation from the mean, from the X bar level, can be called as stable or predictable process. Now the next question comes, why only +3 and -3 standard deviation? Why not +2 and -2 standard deviation? Why not +1 and -1 standard deviation? Why not +4 and -4 standard deviation? Why exactly +3 and -3? Anybody knows this answer? Just give me in the chat. Six Sigma. Okay, that has got nothing to do with Six Sigma actually. Yeah, a lot of people get this, this kind of understanding that it must be +3 and then another 3, +3 this side, +3 that side. You can add. Then our course name is also Six Sigma, so there must be some. Fantastic, Dahlia! Everybody, just clap for Dahlia. Just give me, give her, Super. So she has given amazing answer, and that's the right answer. The answer is alpha error and beta error. Now what is alpha error and what is beta error? Of course we are not going to understand that today, but according to Walter Shewhart, see, alpha error, beta error, you would have heard about them in hypothesis testing. Yes, congratulations, like this. Super. Alpha error, beta error, which and Leonardo DiCaprio is clapping. It's amazing thing. Coming back to alpha error, beta error, at +3. So what you need to write down for this point in time, during hypothesis testing we'll understand what is alpha error and beta error. But at +3 and -3 standard deviation band, the alpha error and beta error gets balanced out. That's what Walter Shewhart has understood. Okay, so just write this down. Why +3 and -3 standard deviation? At +3 and -3 standard deviation, we get a perfect balance of alpha error and beta error, and that's why Walter Shewhart, presented this case to the statistician fraternity, and all of them basically said yes, this makes sense, and that's why they decided that any process which flows between the band of +3 and -3 standard deviation is called as a stable process. Everybody with me till now, just give me yes in the chat box. यहाँ तक सब कुछ cool, superb, amazing. Now let's take the practical point of view of this. Okay. Now, any process which goes outside of the control limit, like for, let's say, it goes like this, that means there is some variation which is more, that makes that process unstable. Which is better, 2 sigma or 3 sigma? So once we go through this today's session, now it will be completely clear to you which one is better. Okay. Now my point is that if any data point which goes beyond this band called upper control limit or beyond this band called, let's say, lower control, if let's say this point goes like this, okay, now both these cases are called as, now this one, these are called as spatial cause variation. Make a note of this. Spatial cause variation. And any variation which is between this band of upper and lower control limit is called as common cause variation. So variation within this band is called as common cause variation. So now understand this. Special cause variation and common. So any special cause variation present in the process, that process is unstable process. If there is no special cause variation present in the process, that process is a stable process. Okay. So if it goes beyond, it's a special cause. If it is within, it's a common cause. For example, let's say if we take our body temperature, if we keep on tracking our body temperature, there will be fluctuation. Okay, every morning the body temperature will be different, in the afternoon the body temperature will be different. If you are sitting in the AC, the temperature will be different. If you are outside in the sun, the body temperature will be different. So there will be variation. But when you are not well, when you have fever, your body temperature goes high. And that is called as special cause variation. And your routine fluctuation is called as common cause variation. Are you understanding this? Yes. Every stock market, there is a routine variation, ups and downs for every stock. But someday market crashes down, it falls down drastically, it is special cause variation. Let's say any, India-Pakistan war happens, crashes down. If there is any company which has got, there is some inquiry about that particular company, so that particular company's stock will go down, abnormality, exactly. So this is called special cause variation. Otherwise also there will be fluctuation, but it is called common cause, and more or less it is a little less variation within the band of control limits. But when it goes up and below, it is called special cause variation. Now understand this. Special cause variation can easily be identified. We can easily identify special cause variation because the causes are very, very evident. But we cannot identify common cause variation. Today's topic, we are going to go deeper, not into the special cause variation, but into the common cause variation. So today's topic is basically dedicated for the common cause variations. Now special cause variations, easily you can find out the variation, easily you can find out the causes, and easily you can take care of it. You don't need 6 sigma for special cause variation. Write this down. This is very, very important. Generally, special cause variation comes once in a while. Common cause variations are, a common pattern which are there. Now, the statement which I made, which is very important for us to understand, you don't need Six Sigma to work on special cause variation, but you need Six Sigma to reduce common cause variation. How many of you got it? Just type yes in the chat box. I repeat the statement. You do not require Six Sigma to identify and eliminate special cause variation, but you need Six Sigma to reduce the common cause variation. In Six Sigma, we focus on reduction of common cause variation because special cause variation ऐसे ही logical thinking से we can identify. Very powerful. Yes? Super, super. Now, what are the reasons for the common cause variation? What are the reasons for common cause variation? Give me one example if you can. What are the reasons for common cause variation? Understand the question because now we are going deeper into common cause variation today. Unstable process. No, common cause variation. Now, common cause variation is not unstable process. Even the process is, within the control limit. Why that variation is there? So, imagine a process where there is no special cause variation. Special cause variation you can easily identify. Why market crashed? You easily identify. It was because of India-Pakistan war, because it was Ukraine-Russia war, because it was some company got some investigation, or some fraud happened in the stock market, whatever it is. The reason is very clear and evident. Common cause reason is not very evident, which requires deeper investigation. But what are the causes? Not following SOP, okay? Not following SOP, okay, could be one of the Six Sigma for common cause, not for special cause. Exactly. Manual error, measurement error, mechanical error, very nice. Observe reading goes in the same flow. Variation in work method, input process parameters, not within the limits, very nice. Machine variation, amazing, good, very nice, super. And that's where, so let me just quickly, okay, एक second. Okay. Before we go into that, so if you see, to identify common cause variation, we do this. Yes, what is that? Fish method, material, measurement, mother nature. All these causes basically brings this variation called common cause variation, Ishikawa diagram. Yes, we call it 4M or 6M. All these are basically to identify common cause variation more. Are you understanding this? Now, let me give you an example of this. +3 and -3 standard deviation. Let's imagine, I'll just give you, before we go deeper into common cause variation, एक calculation करके देखते हैं. Let's say X bar is equal to 20 and sigma is equal to 2. Okay, X bar average is 20 and standard deviation is 2. Calculate UCL and LCL for me. Calculate UCL and LCL and type in the chat box just for our understanding. X bar is 20, standard deviation is 2. Formula I have given on the screen: X bar plus 3 standard deviation, X bar minus 3 standard deviation. (20 and 40). 20 is the mean, Ravindraji. 20 is the mean. 26, very good. So I think that was a typo mistake. Very nice. So 26 and 14. Everybody's clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. Everything is clear now? Upper control limit is 26, which is 20 plus, so let me put it over here, so which is 20 plus 3 times standard deviation, which is 2, which is equal to 26, and here 20 minus 3 times standard deviation, which is equal to 14. So that process, if that process is within 26 and 14, it's a stable process. Clear? Upper control, lower control limit, the basic control chart, which is I chart. This is the calculation for the control limits. Clear? Now, what I said, so this variation within this band, we have to go for 6 M's, which is Ishikawa, all the causes. How do we investigate the common causes deeper? Okay, how do we investigate the common causes deeper? For this, let me quickly bring this diagram. Okay, let me draw the same control chart in a bigger way. Okay, this is, so let me draw multiple lines here. So this is my X bar line. So, and this one is -1 sigma, -2 sigma, and -3 sigma. On the other side, we have +1 sigma, +2 sigma, and +3 sigma. Now what we are doing is, so this becomes, so X bar +3 sigma becomes my upper control limit, and X bar -3 sigma becomes my lower control limit. Just draw this diagram, and this center line is the mean. Okay, this line. This is X bar, or the mean line. So what I've done, I've just, that entire control chart, I've just, divided that into 6 equal parts. Okay. Now I'm just going a little deeper into the common cause variation. Now I just want to check within the common cause variation what are the trends and the patterns, and to understand that, we basically, there are 8 special tests we have, which our amazing software Minitab gives us. Okay, so what Minitab does, Minitab breaks that entire control chart into small, levels, 6 levels, different levels of this 1 standard deviation each. Okay, +1, +2, +3 standard deviation on the top of the average, and -1, -2, -3 standard deviation below the average line. Okay, and then it identifies the patterns and the trends, etc., which with our naked eyes we cannot identify. Okay, let's do one exercise here. Let me share a file with you guys. Let me open one file, and let me share that file with you. Okay, yeah, now you can just open this Minitab file, our favorite Minitab file which we use every day. Let's do this. Once you opened it, we will first make a normal control chart, and then we will make some special tests. Once you open it, let me know. Just put it in the chat that you have opened that. Super. Done. Very good. Chalo. Let's make a simple eye chart to begin with. Stat quality tools or stat control chart, variable chart for individual. Just follow this path. Stat control chart, variable charts for individual and individual. Very basic wala eye chart we will use first, and we'll make a basic control chart. Okay, stat control chart, variable charts for individual. Once you click that, just select chocolate weight in the variable and just click on OK, and you will get this kind of a graph. So out of 120 dots here, 120 data points, only one data point here is going out of or just touching that control limit, upper control limit, and that's why it is showing one sign. One meaning the test number 1 has failed, which I'll explain you what is that. Test number 1 has failed. One number meaning test number 1 has failed over there. Yes, everybody with me, just give me yes in the chat box. Otherwise, all the data points are within control limits. So, these are all common cause variation. Common cause variation. And this one is special cause variation. Okay. So within the control limits, common cause. Outside of control limits or on the control limits, it is just like, in a cricket match when we hit the 6, even if it touches the boundary of the, it is called as a 6. Similarly, this is also touching the boundary row, and it is a special cause. That's why it is shown as a red dot. Now let's go back. This is our common green belt level stuff. Let's go to the black belt level stuff, which is go back to the edit last dialog box. You can see here, or just press Ctrl E. The moment you press Ctrl E, you can come back here. Alright, just press Ctrl E and go to eye chart options. Go to eye chart option and go to test. I repeat again, you can press either here, which is edit last dialog box, or you can just simply click Ctrl E and this window will come, which we already selected. Just go to eye chart options, and here you have parameter, estimate, limit, test, stages, box scope, display, etc. You just click on test. Okay. Here the drop down says perform selected test for special causes. So here only by default only one box is checked, which is 1 point more than 3 standard deviation from center line, which is nothing but this one. That's why it is saying that first test has failed. 1 point above 3 standard deviation, that's why it is called 1. Okay, now just select this drop down. It says perform all test, it says perform selected test and perform no test. So just select perform all test, okay. Select this perform all test. That means by default all the tests have been selected. Okay, now just click OK and click OK. Wow. Now here, along with that line, along with that, what you can say, test number 1, now you have got a test called 5 also failed, and you have got some number 6 here as well. Everybody got this? Just give me yes in the chat box. Anybody behind, please let me. Got it? Now here also I can draw dotted lines like 1 standard deviation. So this is plus 1 sigma, this is 2 sigma, and this is 3 sigma. Similarly, you can see here, this is minus 1 sigma, this is minus 2 sigma, and this is minus 3 sigma. These are the invisible lines. But along with that, in the common cause variation also, the software has identified certain patterns which in the future can become special causes. Are you understanding? These are the common causes, right? But these common causes pattern, if not taken care of right now at this point in time, can become special cause variation. That is what the indication. It's an early sign, early failure signs. Okay, now try to understand what are these tests. One by one we will try to understand this. Okay, let's go back to this, edit the last dialog box, eye chart option and test. Now on the right hand side, there is a value called K. So K is the value which has been shown there. Now these numbers 3, 9, 6, 14, these are by default number and you can change those number, but I will not recommend you to change. These are highly proven. Research and development, after research and development, they have finalized this number. Like Walter Shewhart said, na, plus 3 minus 3 standard deviation is stable process. You can make it to 2. If you want to check, let's say your norms are very stringent. You want to say, no, I want to check the stability at 2 sigma. You can change it over there. But it is not recommended. You can do it, but not recommended. Okay, unless and until it is required by your customer and by your management. Clear everybody? So K is the value which you should not touch. That's my recommendation. Now let's go one by one. The first one says, everybody with me? Everybody's opened this? Just give me a quick yes. You may not be able to read this. Yes, very good, very good. Now, the first one is very common. 1 point above 3 standard deviation. 1 point above 3 standard deviation. This is this one, this point, right? Now, second point is 9 points. Now, K. Now, you have to write. So, wherever there is a value K, you have to just check this value. What is the value of K they are referring to? Okay. So 9 points in a row in the same side of the center line. What does it mean? For example, this is the center line. What is the center line? Our X bar is the center line. Now, according to the software, if you have 9 points on one side, what does it mean? Tell me, type in the chat box. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 9 points. Yeah, upward or same side, meaning upward or downward, whatever side. What does it indicate? Tell me. Or you have a pattern like this on only one side of the mean. What does it indicate? Type in the chat box. Yes, absolutely right. It is indicating shift in the process. Can you see here? So whichever side you are observing that pattern, that process is shifting now. So your mean is slightly shifting. Now let's say if it is here, so your mean is slightly shifting over here. Or your mean is slightly shifting over here. Yes? So in the future, it can go outside of the control limits. So it's an indication. Be aware, investigate. Okay? So right now we don't have any. So if this software would have identified this pattern, then the number 2 would have been indicated over there. Okay, so they have said 9 points in a row. Okay, so those 9 points they would show, what you can say, number 2 like that. Okay, so this one is test number 2. So this is test number 1, test number 2. Let's talk about test number 3. 6 points in a row, all increasing or all decreasing. Understand, this is very interesting. Okay, what does it mean? Six points in a row, for example, like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What does it indicate? The process is drifting drastically on one side. Again, the same thing. So 6 points in a row, either they are increasing or decreasing. See, variation also has a nature. Like this, once it goes on one side, other time. If it starts going one side, imagine you are driving on a highway. Imagine you are driving on a highway. Now, obviously, you cannot be completely 100% to the dot in the center, right? You will be deflecting a little in the highway as well. But imagine a person who is feeling a little sleepy. Now that vehicle is drifting towards the edge of the highway. That's the danger. Correct? Similarly, the process is drifting either on the top side or on the bottom side. That's why 6 dots. The moment the 6 dots, there is something wrong in the process. So investigation you have to do. The process is still stable process. This is still common cause. Understand this, huh? The process is still stable. What we are investigating is all between these two bands. The variation coming within these two bands. So these are all common cause variation, but within common cause, these are some special tests. Okay. Test number 4. K is equal to 14. So 14 points in a row, alternating up and down. What is that? 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down. Exactly. 1 up, 1 down. Now 14 such points. Now this is, see, if I say up and down, it's a good thing, na? But it is good thing up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The moment it reaches to 14, you have to investigate what has happened. It is going up, it is going down, it is going up, it is going down, it is going up. The moment it reaches 14 points, it is sending you alarm that there is something wrong. There is some manipulation in the data, or some data recording has to have some errors. If you have 14 data points moving up and down in sequence, the statisticians say there is something wrong. You have to investigate. See, with an investigation, if you find everything is all right, that's amazing. That's good. But still you have to investigate. Okay. Now, K is equal to 2. Test number 5, which says 2 out of 2 plus 1. That means 2 out of 3 points. 2 out of 3 points more than 2 standard deviation from the center line. That means out of 3 points, 2 points are above 2 standard deviation. Now, if you remember what is 2 standard deviation, this is 2 standard deviation line. Remember? So out of 3 data points, if your 2 data points are going outside of it like this, okay, then again it is coming back. So this is a pattern. Out of 3 data points, 2 data points are going outside of 2 sigma. That is also, now it is a danger because 66% of the data point are running very close to the control limit. Out of 3, 2 meaning 66%, no? So 66% of the data points are going closer to the control limit. It's an alarming trend. So investigate. Are you understanding? Just give me any question, please let me know. Okay. Then K is equal to 4. 4 out of 5 points above 1 standard deviation. Understand this. So this is one standard deviation band. Let me remove this so that. So remember, this is one standard deviation, this is two standard deviation. So 4 out of 5 data points. So there are 5 data points, out of which 4 data points, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say fifth one is here. So this is a pattern out of which 4 out of 5 data points are above one standard deviation. This is one standard deviation band, this is two standard deviation, and this is 3 standard deviation. In that case also, it is highlighting test number 6 has failed. Now, test number 7, 15 data point, k is equal to 15. 15 point in a row within one standard deviation of Sentinel. Now this is interesting. Now you will say one standard deviation, this is two standard deviation. What statisticians are saying, if 15 points are there, 15 points in a row within one sigma, so the variation is too much reduced, that is also a alarming situation. Ideally, you will say that's the best thing. No, within one sigma, 15 points are there in a row. But what statisticians say, this might be something fishy there, because this is also not natural. You have to have a simple variation among this one sigma, 2 sigma, 1 sigma, 2 sigma. If the process is stuck within 1 sigma, that also needs to be investigated according to statisticians. If there are 15 data points in a row within 1 sigma, investigate. Test number 7 failed. Then the last test, which is k is equal to 8, which says 8 points in a row more than one standard deviation from the center. Okay, that means 8 points. So here, understand this. 7 point, what does it say? Within this 1 sigma band, if you have 15 data points, this is test number 7 I'm talking about. Within this +1 and -1 sigma band, you have 15 data points. Investigate. Test number 7. Test number 8 says, 8 points in a row, in a sequence, more than one standard deviation from the center line. So more than one standard deviation meaning this band. I'm talking about this band. So 8 data points in a row, more than one standard deviation. That means the process has slowly shifted towards first and second standard deviation band. So these patterns and trends, these are very minute. You cannot identify with the naked eye. So software identifies that, and statisticians have already given us the standards. Okay, if you are crossing that standard, again you can change these numbers, but recommendation is not to change. Okay, so always whenever we are doing this control charts, it is recommended to switch on these test numbers. Okay, so whenever we are doing this control chart, what we have to do, always and always go to the eye chart option, go to the test and switch on perform all tests for special causes. Okay, and click on OK and click on OK, and you will get all the common cause tests also done. Clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. See, as I said, this science also of statistical process control is an evolving science, and the Walter Sheward's +3 -3 standard deviation fundamental was the first fundamental, basic foundation. Over and above, people, then lot of changes happened in that. Then X bar chart came, X bar chart, X bar R chart, X bar S chart. Then the discrete chart came into picture, I chart, P chart, C chart, U chart, all these things, right? This one, NP chart, etc. Correct? Now every chart has got different control limits calculation, etc. So it is an evolving science over the period of time. Similarly, this is also evolved that within the common cause variation, how you can find out the patterns. So we can just check the test and find out the patterns within common cause. So don't wait till the process goes beyond control limit and fail and becomes unstable. You can investigate and check. So very, very stringent norms and stringent control you can have with this test on the on your process. Clear hai? Just give me yes in a chat box. Bulb on moment, very good, fantastic. How to remove common cause variation? You cannot remove common cause variation, but you can reduce common cause variation. And the answer is Six Sigma. Okay? By doing man, machine, method, mother nature causes, you can reduce the common cause variation. Why? Why we have to reduce common cause variation? Because see, ideally above control limits are nothing but specification limits set by the customer, like this, USL and LSL, correct? And this specification limit, for example, now the customer is accepting, for example, let's say specification limit is 48 and 36, example I'm giving, okay? And let's say X bar is 42. This is the current situation. Understand this, I'm just giving you a raw example. Now customer is accepting the product between lower specification limit, which is 36, and upper specification limit, which is 48. But after some time, customer will shrink his specification limit inside. Now customer will say, I want product within 40 and 44. Why? Because customer want better product, better stability, better quality. Customer will shrink the specification limit over the period of time. For example, Domino Pizza, 30 minutes or free. Now customer who is getting 30 minutes delivery now would challenge this specification. Now customer would ask this in 20 minutes. So when the moment specification shrinks, this is the pressure on the process to reduce the variation further from both the direction. And customer will squeeze the specification. It's a continuous process. Are you understanding? Yes? AQL 1, 1.5, 2.5 in garment industry. Exactly. Are you understanding? So customer will try to squeeze, and that's the reason we cannot eliminate variation, because it's a natural process. But we can reduce it. Definitely we can reduce it. And you know what? This investigation, why these kinds of patterns are coming, why these kinds of trends are coming, right? If I change the raw material, what variation process is showing? If I change the vendor, what variation process is saying? If I change the temperature, what variation I am observing? This is the wisdom we gather through this study, and that wisdom will allow us, even if the control limits are squeezing, we should still be able to manage the show. Yes, that's a fantastic example Ravindra ji has given. 5 years ago it was 2.5 accepted by the customer. Now it is 1.5. Okay, now it will come to 1. Then it will come to 0.5. Okay. Yeah, if a process is stable but not capable, and the variation is due to common cause, what should we do? So the process is stable and not capable. What does it mean? That means it will look like this. That process will look like this. This is a typical process. That's a very good question, by the way. This is upper specification limit and the lower specification limit, where my control limits are out and specification limits are inside the control limits. That means you are making huge vests. your profit margin are thin and you cannot survive in the market. There are a lot of rejection internally, there are a lot of rejection externally, there are a lot of customer complaints, your cost of poor quality is very high, your profit margin is very low. Now understand this. This does not happen overnight. This does not happen overnight. The process earlier, the upper specification limit would be like this, as I drew earlier. Okay, it would be like this, but over the period of time, it has come inside, right? As I said earlier. Now, only point which remains in our control is reduce variation as much as possible. Okay, see what happens. Sometimes what happens is you implement Six Sigma, you implement all the things, but sometimes the capability of process variation exhausts. Understand, this is very important point. That is the time you either have to automate or redesign the process. Write this down. Clear? Yes, redesigning has to be done. So if you are squeezing this and it is still not delivering the result, then you have to redesign the entire process. Okay, so we have something called design for Six Sigma for this, which gives the Six Sigma angle. That means you can design a process such that right from the beginning you can deliver Six Sigma process. Nowadays, lot of automations available which can eliminate the human intervention, etc., and automate the process. That also you can do it. And redesigning will be done by the design team, of the people, right? If you don't have internal design team, you can take the external help of the consultants, the design consultants. They will design the process for you. Ram. At spinning process, we use the run theory limit as 1.5 sigma at LCL to keep the control. See, that's what I said, no? So you can tweak that process, you can change it. In some of the norms, you can reduce the control limits, okay, accordingly, right? But again, these are the limits, right? Whether your process, your VOP is showing the lesser control, that is something. See, what you have control limits, control limits, what you have defined 1.5 sigma. It is still, I would not call it as a control limit. I would call it as internal specification limit. Ravindraji. Okay. So you cannot define 1.5 sigma as a control limit. Control limit will be defined by the customer. You can say it is internal specification limit. So one is external specification limit defined by the customer. Now, because you want very stringent control in the quality, you have decided a internal specification limit. Okay, that you can say that. Clear? Correct. Internal, you can say theory limit or a specification. You can say internal specification limit. Very good. Clear, everybody? Got some new insights about the process control with this test. Yes. So whenever we are doing the control charts, please open, just click on this test and observe this variation within the control limits as well, and investigate. See, entire exercise of Lean, Six Sigma, statistical process control, whatever we are learning, is not to do the project successfully. That's a very small short-term, short-term gain. The major objective is to increase our wisdom of the process. Okay, overall wisdom of the process, overall awareness about the process should go up with this exercise, and that is the end in mind of all this operational excellence exercise. Okay. See, Six Sigma is a process capability number, I would say. Okay, so whether your process is fitting into that specification limit, okay, whether your process is fitting into that specification limit is what that Six Sigma tells us. Okay, so just give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay? So what I was talking about, see, Six Sigma, that number 6 is defined as what is the capability of the process. 6 number is the kind of highest capability, very close to zero defect. Okay, so an AQL is what acceptable quality limits are nothing but defined by the customer, which we also called as specification limit, right? So specification limits are defined by the customer. Whether my process is fitting into the specification limit is my capability. That number 6, that means it is perfectly fitting. There is lot of, even if it varies, it will not create defects. That is that Six Sigma level of variation. Okay. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much for joining in. We have a special session today for the business consulting program. It's a very short session for half an hour, 40 minutes, etc., where we are going to discuss about during training programs what kinds of checkpoints we should have, okay, and what we do before the training program starts, what we do. That is something I'm going to discuss in the today's session. Plus, what are the gadgets, right? We do. That is something which we are going to understand. Okay. Yeah, Ravindraji, we welcome the new members on Monday. Okay. Yeah. By the way, Monday we will have the black belt hackathon. Okay. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we are planning to run a black belt hackathon, and black belt hackathon is something which is very interesting, which everybody should all the new members, old members, even if you have certified into green belt, black belt, you should attend this. And as I said, the moment you learning the same concept, your attitude should change. Now, for example, the first time you learn the concept is to understand the concept. Second time to learn the concept is to implement. Third time is how I am explaining that concept. Okay, so that you can replicate that with your colleagues and team members. Okay, so that's how you should be able to cope up. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we will have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we'll have 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. we'll have the black belt hackathon, okay, which is an amazing experience. All of you should join that. All right, so we have a session at 9 o'clock about that training programs, the checkpoints of training programs and the gadgets which we use. Okay, so if you are interested, you can join that as well. All right, I think yes, we have a special announcement tomorrow. You'll get there is a special offer on Master Black Belt as well as consulting business launch program for a week we are launching. Okay, and as I said earlier, if you want to introduce Lean Six Sigma into your company, because a lot of organizations, this is the budget time for the next year. Okay, so you can just connect with our mentor number, and and we can have we can discuss with your management, and we can arrange a program of yellow belt, green belt, black belt training, coaching, consulting in your organization. Okay, in your organization or your ex organizations, you can suggest. If that happens, then you can see us live, how the live training programs and consulting, coaching assignment happens. That will open up your all the portals of Lean Six Sigma completely. Okay. So think about it, and you'll get some percentage out of it as well if that goes through. Okay, that's some handsome money you can earn out of this as well. Okay, for more, contact our mentor's number. Yes. So till the time, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.